Hello and welcome to the Vanguard Lights. And we have got a fantastic one for you today. And it's called Bulletproofing Your Spiritual Practice. And it's interesting how this one came to me, or the download of it. It was on a walk to the gym in the morning, like at 5:30 in the morning. So I was heading to the gym, and currently I'm living downtown. Oh my gosh, how weird is that? That's a whole nother story. But anyway, because it's a downtown, so it's gonna be, highest crime for the city in the area, and yada, 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 all that stuff. So I was thinking, I was like that's where the mind was talking. It was like, oh, well, there's danger and you could get attacked and stuff like that, which is like, okay, well, that's true. That can happen. So anyway, so I'm walking and it's kind of like, well, you could get attacked. Something could happen. And I was thinking about that. I was like, well, that's true. Obviously, I wasn't in a great trauma about it before. Oh my gosh, I would have so been traumatic, and I would have been freaked out and have been worried and been on guard and all that stuff. And that's why, you know, the story of pre-trauma work. And this is also back to my grow-up city, so it's kind of where all the stuff happened. So that was just a win on of itself, of just being like, oh, it was a conversation. But there were points that were true. It's not like, oh, you're going to do a spiritual practice, or you're going to do healings, you're going to clear out trauma, or you're going to clear out, definitely attachments to safety. It's not like all of a sudden there's not a chance of something happening. There's not a chance of being attacked. There's definitely that possibility. There's definitely always a chance of that. And like I say, one, you don't want to be operating from the past, because your body's safety is going to come from awareness and being in the present moment. Right? So clearing out stuff that attaches you to the past, of like, oh, well, these types of people, this type of thing, this type makes you safe, this doesn't make you safe. That's not true. That's what's happening in the awareness. What's going on? Like, if I had attachments that this forest area was dangerous, then I'd be freaking out. Like, it's dangerous, but is it dangerous? Doesn't look like there's anything here ready to attack me. And it doesn't seem like there's any wild animals about to get me, or guy in the woods about to shoot me. I don't get a vibe that there is. So present moment, I think I'm good. But anyway, then if you have those attachments, that's where it gets kind of wonky donks. But anyway, if you clear all that, there's still a chance something could happen. And that's when the enlightenment moment hit me. It said but it would be worse. But it would be worse. Of doing your spiritual practice, of what's the point if I do the spiritual practice, but it can still happen, or is it really worth it? And it's this thing just unlocked it for me, was that thought of it would be worse. And it's almost just that mantra of it would be worse. So if you think of something was gonna happen, right? But all you do is say it would be worse. No matter what's gonna happen, it would have been worse. So you think of that spiritual practice of oh, well, that way, well, don't worry. If you weren't doing your spiritual practice, if you weren't progressing, whatever was coming would be worse. So whatever your unconscious mind, not so much your unconscious mind, your fears, also dark forces might throw at you, just be oh no, it would be worse. Oh, well, this and this could happen. Oh, but it would be worse if I wasn't doing what I was doing, if I wasn't doing my spiritual practice. My spiritual practice is going to make it less. Even though there's a possibility it might happen, or the spiritual practice might make it where it just never occurs. But it's always that mantra, it would be worse if I didn't do my spiritual practice. And that's the one that your unconscious can't necessarily, or not your unconscious, but more your fears can't undermine. Because yeah, stuff could happen, but you can always just flip it with, oh, but it would be worse. If I wasn't doing my spiritual practice, it would be worse. And it's amazing. It seems it's so simple, but it'll really help battle harden, really diving in to doing spiritual practices. That's a cool little just thing. Go take a look. It's a forgotten pavilion in there. You can probably check that out. But anyway, back to it. It's oh my gosh, it really battle hardens that process of I'm going to do my spiritual practices, right? And knowing that it's gonna progress me, it's gonna increase my awareness, it's gonna increase my safety, all that stuff, right? But it's not it's this panacea of nothing's going to happen to me. But you can counter that fear with, it would be worse. If I wasn't doing it, it would be worse. If I didn't do this, it would be worse. And you'd be amazed. It seems simple, but just try that. of like whatever your mind is thinking up, you'll concentrate, oh, well, this could happen, that could be like, oh, but it would have been worse. And it's weird because it creates this weird level of acceptance. Now, it could be from clearing out the the core safety stuff. So you guys can let me know of like, when I do it, I still freak out. Well, I'll definitely say freedom through safety. Get that handle, because even without that, it just helps of like, just put it into perspective of like the effort you're doing, the work that you're putting forward, whatever bad is going to happen, it's getting less. And really condition your mind of like, it's getting less. And so if something happens that might be unpleasant, you can get into a place of gratitude, like, oh man, that could have been worse. And it changes it up. Because when even like little things, like you're dropping keys, this is falling, and I know I went through the process of like feeling like, oh, the dark forces are coming. They're like attacking me because I'm on this light quest and all this stuff like that. And it's like, that's probably true. There is a component of that, but if I wasn't on the light quest, it would be worse. And it just battle hardens your spiritual practice. It really does. Because whatever's happened, you can gain gratitude that, oh man, it would have been worse. If I wasn't on this quest, if I wasn't a force for light, it would have been worse. If I wasn't doing whatever practice you're doing, it would have been worse. And it just gives you so much more enthusiasm to keep going and keep doing it. Knowing that it's like your insurance policy. It's your guarantee of like, oh, it would have been worse. No matter what life throws at you, it would have been worse if you weren't doing your spiritual practice. And just that simple tweak, a little mind hack, will bring you so much relief. It's amazing. It seems so simple. I swear it seems so simple, but it works so good. It really does. So I encourage you to take that on. Also, check out the Freedom Through Safety course. If you let me know in the comments or something that like, wow, I don't get that upliftment. It could be that it's just so much is attached to like, oh, if I make a mistake, I'm in danger. I'm gonna die. My safety's compromised. It could be that too, because that was a big old one that once that cleared, and just the whole course, like it was so fundamental of where it just allows you to engage life so much deeper. Because it's not like there's not issues anymore. It's just not life or death. So everything's like, oh, if I mess up, I'm dead. If I do that, I'm dead. I'm doing it dead. And it's like, no, it's all lies. It doesn't mean something couldn't kill you. But all these little things of like, they're life and death, they're not. And it's not even so much life or death. It's like just this twisted misconception. And I can talk about it, but it's not the same as energetic freedom to where you get to come out here and play. Because there's a lot of weird stuff going on. Trust me, there's such crazy stuff going on, but you're able to, like, it's just more than this thing. I mean, this is super pretty and amazing, but energetically, there's so much going on. There's like waves and stuff coming in and out, and it's just, but it's a blast to play in. Doesn't mean there's not challenges, but anytime they come up, you're just like, oh, it would have been worse. Oh, it would have been worse. Oh, I'm grateful. It would have been worse. And it's like this inoculation to like that. Just that underlying thing of like, oh, well, it's not working, or it's not gonna save you, it's not gonna protect you. It's like, no, it would have been worse. It would have been worse. So no matter what comes at you, it's always this affirmation that you still had some type of win involved. So play with that. Until we talk again, have a blessed day or a blessed night.